Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Man, I don't know whether to continue laughing. My face hurts so much after watching this video. But to continue laughing about this, or should I be upset that this guy actually is forcing me to semi-protect Militiaman of all people? Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I came across a video of a financial professional ripping Militiaman apart. So we're going to go over this video because the things he says about the dinar are always the same thing that these so-called experts say about the dinar. And it always feels like they're leaving out so much more. So, without further ado, allow me to be entertained by what this guy is saying, while at the same time shedding some light on some of the things he's saying. The cool thing about a lot of things he says about Militiaman and the Iraqi dinar are the same things that I have been saying now for quite some time. Let's get into this so you can see for yourself. Fundamentals of Finance. That's the name of the YouTube channel. I will leave the link down below so you guys can come check it out for yourself. Iraqi dinar revaluation. Investment expert analyzes Militiaman and crew. Yeah, this is going to be brutal. Let's get into this.
The Iraqi dinar revaluation. It's never gonna happen.
Okay, right from the jump street, for him to say it's never going to happen is false. We've seen it devalued, revalued over the past couple of years. He's got to be more specific. I think what he's trying to say is the Iraqi dinar is not going to have its rate reinstated. Is more specific about what he's saying. But to say that a currency is not going to revalue is false. We saw it happen. We saw it happen in 2020 when they devalued it, and then a year later to turn around and revalued it. So to say it's never been revalued, that's the issue that I have with the dinar community. There's a difference between a reinstatement. You're now going to be back at $3.22 for every Iraqi dinar versus a revaluation when they move the exchange rate up and down without reinstating the original rate. So for him to say it's never going to revalue is false.
But y'all still watch people like Militiaman and crew and think the revaluation is gonna happen. In this video, I'm breaking down a recent video of Militiaman and crew so that you can know the truth. My background, I used to tell portfolio managers at Merrill Lynch and Morgan Stanley what to do with millions of dollars. Let's go through 9 recent developments that are getting people excited and assess from the perspective of an actual investment expert how impactful they might be to the dinar. All right, number 1. There might be a new oil and gas law, still not approved of course, to manage oil wealth and ensure fair distribution. What do you think the link is between maybe changing how they distribute their oil wealth, of which there is very little, and the value of the dinar? Do you think there's a link there between the oil wealth and the value of the dinar? Now, of course, the dinar gurus like Militiaman won't tell you that because they don't actually understand how investing works.
Well, let's see here. What did Pimpy say about all those gurus out there making the claim that the oil, they have so much oil that because of the amount of oil they have, oh my God, they're going to get reinstated their rate. The Iraqi dinar is going to be extremely valued. So Pimpy doesn't know what he's talking about. And what did I say? I say stay grounded. That's not true. Not true at all. There are other hurdles that Iraq has to go through in order for the exchange rate to increase in value. I said this a million times that Iraq relies too much on oil to fund their government. So it's not going to go up just because they got tons of oil. I said that a million times.
The reality about this vast oil wealth is that there is none. Iraq can't even pay their bills. Their government is deep in the red with their latest budget that is only sustainable with oil in the high 90s per barrel. Is oil in the high 90s per barrel? No. And even if this oil and gas law passed, would it have any impact on the currency? No. Currencies are driven by supply and demand. A redistribution of oil wealth in the country could theoretically be good for the people of Iraq, but it would not drive more demand for the dinar, and that is what drives currencies.
The issue is they're using US dollars for oil transactions. If Iraq was smart, they would start doing business in Iraqi dinars, not the United States dollars. They have so much oil and people want their oil that if Iraq switched over and started using Iraqi dinars, it's not like people are going to fuss. They'll do it. That would definitely strengthen Iraqi dinar.
This oil law is nothing but smoke and mirrors. Okay, number 2. they might become a member of the WTO, the World Trade Organization, so they can do more cross-border trade. Now, that could be more impactful if their economy wasn't entirely driven by oil, which they already sell anyway. Let's say it could be the beginning of a multi-decade economic transformation. Okay, possible. But how close are they really to joining the WTO?
So this is what I think is funny about these so-called professionals. They start off by telling you the Iraqi dinar is never going to revalue. And then they turn around and tell you, well, there is some possibilities. Either it is or it isn't. Why don't you just be honest about the Iraqi dinar? The dinar is not a scam. It's a legitimate currency. Can it increase in value? Of course it could. What are the things out there that can help increase it in value? These are the following. What are the things that these people out there like Militiaman are telling their people that's a lie? These things don't affect the currency the way that they're presenting it to their listeners. Oh, there's some powerful things coming. There's some powerful things. It's false. Being in the World Trade Organization is going to help Iraq big time. You want them out there in an international community doing trade and business. But this is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's what Militiaman and a lot of these other gurus out there, that's what they're telling people. Oh, as soon as they're in there, by golly, tomorrow their currency is going to be reinstated at this high rate. No, slow down there, Sparky. Okay, slow down there. Yes, Iraq has a lot of oil, but they need to do the transactions not in greenbacks, but in Iraqi dinar. That would help increase the value of the Iraqi dinar. Think supply and demand. In order for you to buy the oil, you got to use Iraqi dinar. 2, going into the World Trade Organization is going to be a major boost for Iraq, who's been closed off now for quite some time to the international community. Think supply and demand again. In order for you to get the things in Iraq, you're going to need the dinar. At least let's be honest about it here, financial man. All right? But the way people like Militiaman are presenting it is absolutely, positively misleading and a lie.
Some people will make it sound like this is just about to happen. Let's take a look at the WTO's website. They started the process of joining in 2004, almost 19 years ago as I'm filming this. So how much progress have they made in 19 years? Almost none. By my simple count, it looks like they've completed 2 of the 19 steps to join. So at this rate, it'll only take them 145 more years to become a member.
I made a video and explaining that. Wow, look how far along they are. They're only a couple of steps into this. And this guy is right, but he's not being honest and fair about the other part. The issue was with Iraq, they're dealing with so much corruption. They continued with the process of going to the World Trade Organization, and then they don't pay the fees, and then they're doing nothing to help with the accession into the World Trade Organization for 3 or 4 years, then all of a sudden they want to do it again. So it's like a stop and go procedure with Iraq. They don't do the steps necessary to be a member of the World Trade Organization for one reason or another. They always stop the process. There's no doubt, nobody can deny that if they could just get their ass in there and stop stalling, that it's going to help Iraq big time. All right? But there are people out there, people like Militiaman, who are saying, once they're in there, there's no way they can join the World Trade Organization with the rate that they're at. They must increase their rate. That's false.
Okay, number 3. They're about to exit some sort of unspoken Chapter 7 UN sanction, which Militiaman guesses has something to do with the currency. Well, unspoken and can't find any data on it means it doesn't exist.
No, I did a video about that as well. They have been out of Chapter 7 for a while, but the part that was the issue was the sanctions on the currency. I told everybody it's a good step, but don't get overly excited.
Guessing is not investment analysis. You can see from the UN's website that in reality, all Chapter 7 UN sanctions were removed in 2013, more than 10 years ago. So the idea that the UN is about to remove some mythical unspoken Chapter 7 sanctions is entirely, you guessed it, smoke and mirrors. Number 4, they need an internationally acceptable exchange rate for a lot of these things to be in play. Well,
oh, good Lord. I've said this a million times. How many times have I said in my videos where these guys are like, there's no way they can do that, Pimpy. There's no way they can do infrastructure. Or there's no way they can handle this budget at the current rate. I said, that's a crock of crap. Whoever's telling you that is lying to you. They've been handling budgets at this rate now forever. They can't go to the World Trade Organization with this rate. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. So it's just false. People like Militiaman and these other gurus telling you that they can't move forward with this rate is wrong. Look, I used to think the same thing. I even mentioned it a couple of times, but later on I realized that doesn't make sense. The truth is, they've already been functioning with this rate. So how is it any different? To say that they can't get into the World Trade Organization with this exchange rate, to say that they can't move forward with this huge budget of 3 years, can be done without increasing the exchange rate is false.
Well, they already have an internationally accepted exchange rate, so that doesn't make any sense. But there are 3 important things to understand here. First, yes, there's also a parallel black market rate in Iraq, which was at $15.60 per dollar as of early October, about 15% below the official rate. Now, some people paint this as a good thing, but that shows a complete lack of knowledge about how currencies actually work. Why would a currency trade at a lower valuation on the black market? It's because everyone in Iraq knows the dinar is likely to devalue at some point, so the market is moving ahead of that. They want to get dollars now because they think the dollars are going to increase in value against the dinar. You do realize that they believe that so strongly that they are willing to pay more than the official exchange rate just to get them.
Yeah, that's not fully true. We also know that a lot of these countries that are under sanctions are willing to pay more in dinars to get their hands on US dollars because US dollars are more acceptable. So it's not just that people in Iraq would rather have the lower currency. No way. Think about this. If I am in Iraq, do I want 1,310 dinars for every dollar? Or do I want the 1,550 dinars for every dollar? That gives me more dinars. The more dinars you get for the dollar, the Iraqi people see it when they're dealing in the black market. They just know they get more they can shop with. That's different. As far as the bigger part of this, which is these countries who are under sanctions, they're more than willing to pay more dinars than the official rate just to get their hands on US dollars.
Second fallacy about the establishment of a more widely accepted exchange rate is that it would matter for the currency. In reality, no one wants to accept the dinar, so they'll have to pay in dollars for everything anyway.
Not true. Iran, who did $11 billion in trade with Iraq, was willing to start using the Iraqi dinar as their official currency at one time. I think it was like 2018, 2019. So to say that nobody would accept it is false. We know right now we have what? How many banks? 5 banks right now who are doing currency swaps with Iraq so they can start doing international trade. So that's not accurate what this man's saying.
The third fallacy about the establishment of a more widely accepted exchange rate is that unlocking the economy has to do with the narrative I keep hearing that their plans won't work at the current exchange rate, so it has to go revalue upward. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Who did you hear that from? In my opinion, if this guy's a financial expert, and I believe him, there's no reason to doubt him. But if he is, at least be honest about the whole thing. All right? Just be honest. Like me, I'm being grounded. Every time I hear a little thing about what organization Iraq wants to be a part of, or hear about some new law being passed, or every time a budget is passed, I don't go around going, oh my God, there we go. This is going to cause the exchange rate to be reinstated. No, I say, look, a lot of these steps recently that are being taken by Iraq, these are the right moves to go forward. But it takes a lot more than just being in a World Trade Organization, or the fact that you passed a 3-year budget, or you can't do infrastructure at the current rate. All that is bullshit. I've been telling people this for a long time. I'm the bad guy. I'm the guy who goes around pissing in everybody's Wheaties, telling you the truth. And everybody gives me crap for being honest with you. So that's why a huge part of me gets joy out of this video. Because in my opinion, he's helping me say the same thing. And that is, be grounded about this. Look at the overall picture of what's going on in Iraq. There's a much bigger picture. In order for the things that we need to happen, in order for the Iraqi dinar to increase in value, we have to look at the overall picture, not just nitpick little parts and not get everybody all hyped up, believing that tomorrow we're going to wake up and there's going to be a reinstated rate. That's false.
What will really happen is that they just won't be able to pay for all the things they're promising. Imagine your friend works at McDonald's and wants to buy a Ferrari. That's like them saying, well, my plan to buy the Ferrari doesn't work at this level of income, so I'm just going to magically increase my income 1,000 times higher overnight. Now, as you know, or maybe you don't, but it doesn't work that way. And it's the same for currencies. Smoke and mirrors.
Okay. Look, he's trying to say that these people telling you that they couldn't do this or couldn't do that with the current exchange rate and that it has to increase. And that's false. I said the same thing this man has.
Here's what the dinar gurus are saying. They had an increase in the volume of traded shares, so that means their stock market is on a tear and it's getting ready to explode. No, it doesn't. Volume means the number of shares traded. On to number 5, it's about their stock market. Here's what the dinar gurus are saying. They had an increase in the volume of traded shares, so that means their stock market is on a tear and it's getting ready to explode. No, it doesn't. Volume means the number of shares traded. It tells you nothing about the direction of the market. And volume always skyrockets when the equity market is crashing.
Now, for people out there, look, I've not heard any gurus say anything about the volume of stock being traded as the reason for the increase in value, so that's new to me. But as far as somebody like me who's part of a group that invests in the Iraqi stock market, yeah, we like the news.
6 is also related to the stock market. The Iraq Stock Exchange wants more foreign investors in their stock market. Okay, obviously. But how will they get them to invest? Apparently, they're trying to pass an Iraqi Securities Commission law that would increase the purchase limit, allowing investors to buy up to 49% of the shares in Iraqi companies. Now, some people who have no idea how investing works thinks that will entice people to invest because they'll be able to own larger shares of companies. But there's just one problem. No one wants to buy any shares of Iraqi companies.
Yeah, this is something I spoke about. Foreign investors are not going to come into Iraq if the government is unstable, if the country is unstable, if the economy is unstable. I said this a zillion times. This is one of the hurdles that Iraq has to get past in order to help the currency increase in value. A lot of things this man is saying is accurate. It's not stuff that people want to hear, but it's the truth. And for those of you who've been following my channel for God knows how long, this guy's not saying anything new, because I've said all the same things this guy is saying, and even went after a lot of the so-called gurus for misleading and lying to you.
That's like saying, hey bro, do you want to buy a jar of olives? And the guy's like, no, I don't like olives. And then you're like, okay, well then how about 10 jars of olives? I struggle to see why increasing a limit that no one is running up against would make any shred of difference.
Now, again, here we go. Let's be honest there, Mr. Financial Guy. What he's saying is both right and misleading. What I mean by that is, yes, Iraq is having problems bringing in foreign investors. But if they can get their act together, the big word in there is if, they could draw foreign investors to come in. And this would be a major step towards increasing the value of the Iraqi dinar. This is the part that I don't like about his video. He should say, this is what the gurus are saying. This is misleading and it's false. But if this happened, this can help with the value of the Iraqi dinar. You know, at least be honest about it. So I'm torn about how to feel because he is going after Militiaman, which makes me laugh. A lot of things he's saying, I've been saying now for quite some time. But at the same time, I'm not very thrilled about the fact that he is not being fully honest about what it takes to make the Iraqi dinar increase in value. I understand the skepticism that's out there, I really do. But be honest about it.
You know what this is? Smoke and mirrors. And we're on to number 7. The gurus are saying the economy will do great because of the new hydrocarbon law. Banks will be selling loans and real estate in the dinar. Companies will be doing all their trade in the dinar, and there will be some money to be made. Okay, well, the hydrocarbon bill is controversial and has gone nowhere since 2007. So they formed a committee in August to talk about it. Who cares? Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but what have I said about Kurdistan and Baghdad? They make agreements, everybody's happy, they're going to do this, and then it never gets done. They never sign an agreement. They never iron these things out. They keep sending delegations to each other to try to work these things out, but it never gets done. It's like the oil that's supposed to be sent to Turkey. They said, oh, next week, and then a week after that. And I said, well, don't count your eggs before they're hatched. When the oil is flowing and they're actually getting money, then you can be happy about it. So what was their excuses? Why didn't it happen next week? Oh, they needed to inspect the pipelines. Remember that? Then what was the excuse after that? Oh, well, they need to talk to the United States to make sure it's okay. So, yes, these things are exciting that they're moving forward, but I wouldn't count my chickens before they hatch. What I'm saying to you is stay grounded. I've been saying that for how long now? Sure, this news sounds exciting, but it's being overhyped by a lot of these gurus that are out there trying to blow smoke up your butt. Don't fall for that. When it happens, then fine, we can celebrate it. The fact that they're talking about it is good, but a lot of these things never happen right away like they say it's going to.
Banks in Iraq will give people home loans in their own currency. They already do. All this positive sounding stuff about the economy, first of all, most of it is just false hope. Or one could say smoke and mirrors. And second, of all the things Militiaman and other random news reading gurus can never do, is explain how any of this will help the currency.
Say what? That's not true. There is one person out there talking about the Iraqi dinar that takes the time to educate the people that listen to his videos. Let me think about this for a minute. Oh yeah, that's me.
Number 8 is another one just like that. They launched a campaign to sell food at competitive prices. Wow, how revolutionary. I bet that will be the key in their economic miracle. And last but not least, number 9. Kurdistan will now use dinar at all border crossings and airport transactions. Oh man, that is just so exciting. You mean to tell me that a region of Iraq will use Iraq's currency when people buy a bottle of water at the airport? Man, that's a game changer. Hold on, y'all, let me go buy some dinar.
Calm down, Sparky. I get what he's trying to say. But the truth of the matter is, if they're using dual currencies and you get away from using US dollars and strictly go to Iraqi dinar, that does help the dinar. He's just not being honest about it.
You see, every single thing these dinar gurus tell you is smoke and mirrors. It's the same crap on a different day.
Yeah, that's true. That's what they do. Unless you come to my channel and I help keep you grounded.
It's putting lipstick on a pig. It's smoke and mirrors to get people to keep watching their channel and keep buying dinar. The news is always changing, but at the same time, it's never changing. It's always some grand hope or guess that's just right around the corner. Then when it doesn't happen, it's something else that sounds promising. It's always about to happen next week or next month, except it's never gonna happen.
Not true. I would never say it's never going to happen. There's just a lot of things that need to happen in order for this to come to fruition. But he's right. These gurus have blown smoke up people's asses for decades. Same lies over and over.
Same story for 20 years. It might sound slightly different in 6 months, but it won't change the fact that it is physically impossible for a currency to revalue up significantly overnight.
Well, what do you mean? Instead of it happening overnight, is it possible it goes up in increments? Look, if I'm being honest about it, it's kind of hard not to laugh at the fact that he singled out Militiaman. In all fairness, it's not fun to pick on Militiaman because he's an easy target, because he says idiotic things. So I couldn't resist. I like what this guy is saying. Stop falling for all the bullshit that these people blow up your guys' asses. So for him to say it's never going to happen is false. It can happen. But is it going to happen because they passed a 3-year budget and they need the exchange rate to increase in order to do all the things they wanted to do? No. Is it going to increase because a hydrocarbon law has been signed and they're actually going to do something about it? No. Is it going to increase because it's impossible for them to go into the World Trade Organization with the current exchange rate that they have? No. It's false. The thing I like about the videos, everything he's saying, I've been saying now for years. Stay grounded and let's watch how Iraq progresses. It's not going to happen overnight. And for many of you, you go, what do you mean I've been waiting 20 years? I know, I'm sorry, but you can thank Iraq for that. Anyways, I hope you guys now see that a Merrill Lynch advisor has come on to say the same thing I've been saying about Militiaman and his people. This is the one channel that actually takes the time to educate you and keep you grounded. I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you share this. I'll catch you later. I'm out.